And we're back with another edition of the CMB Sports Show. I am your host, Braylon Brakefield. With me is my good friend, the King of Maryland, coming off of a rocky week 0 for us as we went a combined 0-2 on the picks we gave, but it'll buff. It's Cole Lepsch.
What's up, boys and women?
Yeah.
It was fun. It was like a nice little teaser to what's to come, you know. Not on our picks, obviously. We're not going to lose any more picks. Those are our two for the year, so expect us to go perfect after that. You know, it's going to be fun. You know, I want to call something out about last week that I did. You know, big game of the week was Nebraska Northwestern, right? Lindsay wants to go get her nails done. We're coming out of COVID, coming out of quarantine. We go over to like the next town over. She gets her nails done. I'm sitting at a restaurant, just watching the game, and it ends up being the Nebraska alumni restaurant. That's where they hang out and watch games. So it was electric for the first half. I mean, just incredible. And then I've never seen a sadder group of people in a restaurant. I mean, there's like 40 Nebraska fans, and they're doing their chants and stuff in there. Oh my gosh, man. It was so quiet. The bartender's like making fun of them in the second half, and they're just kind of yelling it, giving it to him back. I mean, it was great. It was just an awesome time. And I was wearing my Alabama versus the world shirt, you know. Nobody really wanted to talk to me. So, I mean, it was great. It was awesome.
Yeah, Nebraska fans have that weird thing like Tennessee fans have where they expect to be like national champions every other year.
Yep.
And they're just not. Like Scott Frost, he's not the guy. He stinks. He blew the game for them. And it's going to be a long year for them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you can't stop Northwestern's offense, that offense did not look impressive at all. Both quarterbacks played very good the first half, just like nickel and diamond. But They didn't look, exceptional. It looked like they both had really good game plans. And then after halftime, Northwestern came out and basically Patterson just showed he's a lot better than Scott Frost is.
Yeah.
They were down 11?
Yeah, I mean, I would say they do have like the coaching advantage there. I mean, Northwestern guy has proven. I mean, that he's just a better coach.
Yes.
Because he's doing more with less. But yeah, like dude, Nebraska fans. I mean, they were all kind of older, you know. And they probably when they were kids, they probably were great, in the 80s and 90s or whatever whenever their reign was. I think it was pretty much always before like 2000, I guess. But I don't know, man. I mean, that was a long time ago. It's like it's 2022, bro. Like you need to kind of wake up and smell the roses. Like you're not an elite football program anymore. The N on your helmet, I don't know if anybody saw it on Twitter, in Ireland when it's a new driver driving around, like, so they have their permit or something, they have the N for novice driver up in their windshield, and it was the exact same print, font, everything, same color as the Nebraska N. I mean, that's hilarious. Have some self-awareness there. I mean, you have to change it up a little bit. I'm sure that they're not very well traveled, so they didn't really know that. Over there in Nebraska with the Cornhuskers. But I don't know. You keep wondering when people are gonna say like, okay, like let's move on from Scott Frost. I feel like it's now. I mean, if he makes it through the season, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, I would too. Especially like you come out, they're 17-point favorites or something like that.
Yep.
And you have the lead, and then you have the momentum. For no reason, you kick an onside kick, and then you just cannot. Like Northwestern shut you down after that. you basically gave the game away. And that's like the 6th game he's had in 3 or 4 years there where he's had an 80% chance of winning the game and then ended up losing. So there's a problem there. It's not the players at that point. It's a coach is messing up somewhere. Right. But the other game was the Vandy Hawaii game. I had Hawaii, and they were in it for 3 minutes maybe, and then Vandy absolutely flexed on them.
Oh my gosh!
If Vandy at the line of scrimmage was blowing Hawaii's doors off, I think Hawaii will be a team that I follow just betting against for the rest of the year because they are that bad.
Yeah, it was. So first and foremost, the sun while it was midnight was throwing me off, but
that was weird. That freaked me out too.
I thought they played in that big stadium out there. And I'm sitting here watching it. I stayed up all day to watch this, and it's like a high school stadium. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just don't know if I can watch this. And then Vandy was kind of struggling out the gate, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know. And then it was just like fireworks, like the SEC parade, essentially. The worst team from a conference. It doesn't matter what conference. If the worst team from a conference comes and smacks you at home, that's not a good look.
And Hawaii was 11-1 against the spread in week 1 or week 0 games, like for their first game of the season in Hawaii, which is why I was on them. But then, and also the nerds from Vandy, I figured they'd be tired by halftime. But it's a freaking day game over there. I didn't know that. I didn't know that 10:30 at night it was still daytime in Hawaii. Yeah.
It's weird, man.
But that's a very bad team. I really don't think it showed us too much about Vanderbilt besides they're decent. They can do football things. I think it's proved just how bad Hawaii is.
Definitely. I agree.
But that's pretty much all I had from week 0. We can start talking about week 1. So the first thing I want to talk about, the big game, or so everyone thinks is the big game, Ohio State and Notre Dame. Notre Dame ranked number 5, Ohio State's number 2. Did you see Marcus Williams, I think is his name, the new Notre Dame head coach? He said that a reporter informed him that the spread was like 17.5, and he was like, 17.5? I didn't know that. That's good bulletin board material. I'll write that up. There's no way you've been prepping for this game in all offseason and you haven't seen the spread one time.
Not once.
You had to have spread.
Come on, bro. I don't care. If you're not using Google in your scouting report you're scouting for this game, right? You're building a scouting report for what? When was the last game played? January, maybe.
For them, probably December.
January, first of the year. Okay, we are in month 8 right now. You have 8 months to come up with this, and you don't use Google once. It's everywhere. You could Google Notre Dame versus Ohio State. The spread's on there, and you just didn't see it.
Yeah, every player on both teams knows the spread. I would guarantee it. And you want bulletin board material? That's where you go first. You're 17-point underdogs.
All you need for bulletin board materials, you get to go hit somebody. If that's not enough for your football team, then what are you doing? It's got me choked up, man. I just don't know. I don't know what you're doing as a football coach if you're going to sit here and say, "Hey, man, I don't really know how to get my team hyped up enough for we're going to Ohio State, and we're just gonna go play some football, I guess." Come on, bro. What do you mean? You need some bulletin board material? Get out of here with that.
Yeah, that'll probably end up being my pick for the week because I'm taking Ohio State by murder.
Yeah,
I think you look at Notre Dame. I think they did. I've seen Feinbaum trying to get clicks, knowing if he attacks Notre Dame, that's the biggest fan base in the world. That's the easiest way to get clicks on the internet. The easiest ways to get click on the internet is to attack Notre Dame, tell them they're ranked too high, or to make a fake quote from the opposing coach or player of whoever Alabama's playing. Because those play every time. Those two teams fall into that trap every single time. But to me, I do think they're deserving of a top 10 spot just because of what they've done in the past. But I also think they're ranked at number 5 to prop this game up, like to give a primetime spotlight game for Ohio State. Because really there's not much, other than Oregon and Georgia, there's not really another primetime game possible of two, high caliber teams.
And it's on
But I don't think this is going to be close.
Yeah, it's on ABC too. So I mean, if you don't think like, ABC, ESPN have like pool and rankings and things like that, I mean, you're just wrong because, these as of now, this is a Fox, a Fox team versus an NBC team. So I mean, if you can have, these two teams that you usually aren't on ABC, ESPN, come play for the first game of the year. You want a top 5 matchup, for ABC. So, I don't know. I think so too. Honestly, I guess you couldn't put them higher. You couldn't put them 3 or 4. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a blowout. I mean, just joyless murder ball, especially at home for Ohio State. Man, they got something to prove too. So.
Yeah, and like you saw C.J. Stroud start to click towards the end of the year. I don't think he'll need those couple warm-up games. I think he's pretty dialed in now. I think he's set where he is.
Definitely.
So we'll go to a good one Thursday is West Virginia at number 17 Pitt, a Thursday night game. To me, this is where the season starts.
Yep. Yeah,
I guess
this is going to be a great game.
I think so too.
We talked about it before coming on here, and the quarterback matchup's actually pretty interesting. It's 2 former USC quarterbacks. They were there at the same time, and then I believe the OC when they were there is now a coach at Pitt, right?
West Virginia.
Or is it West Virginia?
Yeah, he's with JT Daniels,
okay,
I think.
Okay. I knew he was in there somewhere, but pretty interesting matchup. For me, honestly, man, I think Pitt is in a really good like downer season position right here. They had just one of the best players they've had ever, quarterback, Kyle Pitts.
Two of them.
So, coming off of that, you get this old rivalry game. West Virginia doesn't have like a ton to look forward to, besides just getting shellacked all year. So. I mean, with JT Daniels coming in, he's a game changer, man. He's a national champion. I really thought he should have been starting the whole year. But, Kirby's not really good at the quarterback management. Even though he got away with it this time, I don't think he'll get away with it again this year. Just look at Justin Fields. Like he goes to Ohio State, dominates. So, I think I'm expecting kind of a similar thing with JT Daniels. I think he's gonna put up some big numbers, especially in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's you're getting West Virginia at a discount before everyone remembers, oh hey, this JT Daniel he's pretty good. And you're still, a lot of people are still probably thinking about Pitt as what they were last year. They didn't just lose Pickett, they also lost their best wide receiver, who was arguably the best wide receiver in the country last year. So that's tough to fix. That, like you said, they've got a transfer quarterback who's unproven. So I think it's an interesting matchup. The spread is 7.5.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a perfect upset spot to me, especially for this situation.
Yeah, I'll let you save that for the end of the show. Texas A&M, Sam Houston, really no point in talking about that one. That'll probably be another one by 100. Michigan, Colorado State, Michigan by 100. Okay, here's a good one. NC State at East Carolina. if you're NC State, everyone is super high on NC State this year.
Yep.
If you are NC State, why do you schedule week 1 to go to East Carolina?
I just don't know when these schedules are made because I just don't get it. I really don't understand it. I don't know if it was like some kind of contract, like where these ACC teams have to travel week 1, because I think North Carolina's on the road as well. Or I guess it would be, whatever, second week for them. But it's just weird. I don't understand. You're a big Power Five. You're going to be good. Like I think NC State's going to be in the top 10 at some point this year. Why would you? Alabama doesn't go on the road. But, why wouldn't you hold yourself to that, or at least try to hold yourself to that same standard? So I don't know. Pretty weird person. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
It just feels like you're setting yourself up for an upset.
Yeah. Or you're trying to boost your schedule for having a road game, but like, why? For what? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I think I think you're putting yourself in a very good spot to get beat because East Carolina is like little brother. You're going to their place. Like every once in a while, little brother's going to hit you in the mouth.
That's right.
And it'll take you a second to, clear your eyes and get back in there.
That's exactly
so
right.
To me, Alabama is the best at it, where they schedule basically perfectly. Like they get a mutual site game usually week 1.
It's usually a favorable matchup. Like, we'll play big names week 1, and like USC, Virginia Tech, we played a couple times. Sometimes we get some bad matchups. Like I think we had Duke for game 1 a couple years back. Well, like last year we had Miami. In a year that they were supposed to be better and they weren't. We had Louisville the year after Lamar Jackson left. So I mean, it's some unlucky matchups. So it makes it look like we kind of pick these weak ACC teams. But I mean, in all reality, like it's still tough. It's still a good matchup for the most part. And like I just don't. This year not to like go off on a tangent, but they finally get a home opener for the season opener, or a season opener at home, I guess is the way you would say it. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, like I don't understand who makes these schedules. Why you go on the road to a much smaller school, and a school that can play football. Like they ain't no slouch. Like they'll come and pop you in the mouth. Like they ain't scared.
Yeah. And you think this is like what they're looking forward to. Yep. They get a chance to ruin your season week 1. I just wouldn't give a team that chance.
No shot.
Like Alabama's playing Utah State. There's no connection there. There's no bad blood there. It'll just be Alabama is 100 times better than Utah State. They'll beat them and they'll get out of there. It's not like Alabama's scheduling, UAB week 1. It'd be like Alabama going to UAB.
Like they don't have to. You know what I mean? Like there's no advantage to doing that, so they're not going to. Like I know there's been a lot of like, why doesn't Alabama play UAB? Why don't they play Troy? Because we don't have to. Like, yeah, would it be cool to give like for these smaller schools come to the bigger school and they get paid some money? Like, yeah, it'd be cool to throw that around in state, but like. You don't have to go. You don't have to play Troy. Like Troy's a good football team. Why would you want to try to like give your chance to lose that game to an in-state opponent? You know what I mean? Like it would be. There's just no point.
At 3:30 on ABC, we have the second most notable game probably with number 11 Oregon at number 3 Georgia. This is in the Falcons Stadium, correct?
I thought so. And yeah. No, that's Georgia Tech. Where is it at? I want to say I saw it was at Georgia.
It might be.
I thought was weird because I was thinking like, wow, this might be a close game, and then if it's at Georgia, chalk it up, man. I mean, I don't know what the line is, but infinity.
It's 17.
Well,
Oregon still hasn't named a quarterback.
It still has a little bit of that dog in him, but I mean, he's got to start. Like Kirby said, he knows who the starter's going to be. There's no way.
I think so too. But yeah, I think it's another one. Like, Oregon ain't ready for that.
No.
Georgia's, that's just a different breed.
I'm sure that was scheduled like 10 years ago too, so I can't really fault them for that one. Because I do like seeing the big names home and home. Like that's exciting. And you're gonna get Alabama at Texas and then Texas at Alabama. Like that kind of stuff is cool to me. Uh,
Yeah.
Instead of the neutral site.
I'm trying to find where this is. Georgia
On mine, it just says at Georgia.
football. I know that's what mine says too, but I could have sworn it's in the Mercedes-Benz or whatever it's called.
Right.
Let's see.
While you're looking at that, one game I want to call out. It's on Sunday, so it'll be in a good slot at 7:30 Eastern Time on ABC. It's Florida State at LSU, a matchup we don't normally see, but I feel like that could be a really good game. Kind of LSU gets a chance to take on a big name, kind of a statement game for Brian Kelly. I don't think Florida State's great this year, but more, it could be a good statement game for him to kind of announce his presence.
Yeah, for sure. Both, it's Chick-fil-A kickoff game.
Cool. Perfect.
So it's at the Mercedes-Benz. But yeah, I think it's two big name schools, and I like when teams like that play each other.
Definitely. This
something to talk about.
It's what we should see more often. Quite honestly, like I hope, I know people have talked a lot about, like the mega conference or whatever, kind of breaking away from the NCAA. I don't really have anything to say about that kind of stuff, but I would like to see Power Fives play Power Fives more often. Even though like LSU is a little bit down or is more of a question mark. I don't know if they're exactly down, but like Florida State's down. So, it's not as exciting as it would be, maybe 10 years ago, but still exciting nonetheless.
And I don't think you can count out LSU just yet. To me, LSU, I don't feel like their recruiting ever really fell off. I don't know that for sure. I'm not really that in touch with recruiting because I don't really think it matters that much. But, I think a change of who's steering the boat can do a lot sometimes.
Yep. And
LSU
they definitely upgraded. Like these people are nobody's even talking about them, and they just upgraded massively at head coach. So I don't know why people are writing them off. I know like their quarterbacks aren't anything to bring home about, but why like nobody can tell me why not LSU this year. I don't know why their over under is so low. They're still gonna be tough to play at home. Like all those factors are still in play. So I just don't understand why people are kind of writing them off.
Yeah, and I've always said LSU is the best job in college football. Like you look, Les Miles and Ed Orgeron won national championships there.
Yeah.
Those two guys stink.
Right.
Like all the talent is right there with you, and there's no division there. Like if you're a 5-star recruit in Alabama, or if there's 2 5-star recruits in Alabama, one could have grown up diehard Auburn, one could have grown out diehard Alabama. In Louisiana, it's just LSU. Like you're probably LSU and Saints, and that's it.
And they are in a perfect spot too, because I've never really thought about it. But if you look at a map, like Houston is only a couple hours away. So you're right in like a money pot of you have a ton of talent that comes out of your own state. You're right there next to Florida, and you're right there next to Texas. You're just Georgia's kind of a tangent, So you're in like the perfect spot for recruiting talent, and it's just an awesome school, in a cool area. So it really is like these kind of, I don't want to say mediocre because they have had success, but these just kind of all right coaches have won national championships there. And I mean, just look at what Nick Saban did. He won himself a national championship, and then he essentially won Les Miles a national championship. So it's like,
yeah,
if you can get a good coach there, the sky's the limit.
One I know this will be a huge one for you is number 23 Cincinnati at number 19 Arkansas.
Yep.
The spread, Arkansas is favored by 6.5. It's a weird one because, Arkansas's, a lot of people are high on Arkansas. Cincinnati coming off a playoff appearance, but they lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
So how do they bounce back? How good is their coach? How good is their recruiting class? Because you lose your quarterback and the best player you've ever had in Sauce Gardner. How do you come back from that?
Yeah, I wish I could shout him out. I saw this guy on TikTok. He was talking about Arkansas and how he doesn't think it's just going to be a flash in the pan, just because of like their margin of win was like, I think they averaged like 17 points or something like that, 14 points last year, which is notable. I mean, they only lost to Alabama by like a touchdown, and they beat LSU by 3, and then there was another win they had that was by 3. But I mean, I think, like I said before, I think they've had a little bit of a culture change. They're going to be tough to beat at home because they're just absolutely bananas, and I just think that they've had a culture change. They still have a leader at quarterback, and they're gonna come and hit you on defense. And if Cincinnati's not ready for it, I mean, it's just gonna be a rough day for that physicality.
Yeah, and I did see a good stat on Sauce Gardner, who could eventually be the best football player of all time. He went all of college without allowing a touchdown. Now he plays in 3 games in the NFL preseason, and the ball wasn't thrown his way one time. Like, this
Pretty
guy
impressive.
is the real deal.
That is impressive.
He's gonna start, like, week 1, he's guarding whoever it is. He's guarding their number 1 all game.
Oh yeah.
And you might as well just turn and try to do something else.
I'm excited because in the NFL, I mean, there's no hiding from one side. Like you have like. People still throw at Jalen Ramsey, now even though it's not much. Like, like you still have to throw that way at some point. So I mean, if he can make a name for himself in the NFL quickly, I mean, that's going to be fun to watch for the next 10 years.
Yeah, he gives me a little bit of like Deion Sanders vibes, where he's clean, he's never smoked, he's never drank, he's football all the time.
Yep.
He's got the body. He's super athletic. He's fast. He's going to be fun to watch. Houston versus UTSA. I don't really have much on this game. It's a 4-point spread. UTSA, they went undefeated, I think, last year, didn't they?
I believe so. I think they beat UAB in the Conference USA Championship. Or was it the other way around?
I don't remember. I just remember seeing them. They were like 11-0 at one point or something like that.
No, they had.
I don't remember how they
good
ended.
year.
But that'll be same time, 3:30 on CBS. Ole Miss favored over Troy by 21.5. One thing about Ole Miss, I think Lane Kiffin is downplaying his quarterback situation a lot. Also, if you hear that horse running through my house, it's probably my toddler, but it's whatever.
I couldn't hear anything.
I think he's okay. Cool. He's downplaying it, like acting like he doesn't have something.
Yeah,
because
that's definitely something he would do.
When Jackson Dart comes out, he's just spreading the ball around. He'll just have that smug grin on his face.
21.5 against Troy is just weird, though, man. It makes me feel weird. I was not expecting that when I saw it. I mean, if it's that low, man, I just there's got to be something up. There's got to be something up. Vegas knows too much for it to be that low.
And the over/under's 58.
See, like that's weird too. There's no way their defense is that bad.
I don't know. I mean, if you like Troy at all, you might as well just take the over.
Yeah.
Because if they keep it within 3 touchdowns, the over's going to hit.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Ole Miss is going to score 30-something.
Oh, yeah. If not more.
Like, guaranteed.
If not more.
Yeah. Number 25, BYU at South Florida. To me, BYU might be my biggest sleeper in the whole country, honestly. Yeah. They're 11.5-point favorites over USF. Another one, though, like, why do you schedule this game at going to South Florida?
They played last year. I actually read something interesting. I'm not sure what the score was, but at halftime last year it was massive. Like, BYU was losing by a big margin. I want to say it was like 20-something points. And then they climbed back and won, like, with any, like, didn't give up any touchdowns, all unanswered points in the second half, which is incredible. So this might be a good, like, shootout kind of matchup to watch. Since it's at South Florida, they might be bringing a little juice. I don't know anything about South Florida, if they lost or gained or what, but I mean, it might be one to watch. If you're just kind of chilling and you get bored, kind of in between games, it's at that 3:00 slot. So definitely something to watch.
Yeah, listen to this schedule for BYU. They're also returning like 98% of their team back. I think they're returning 21 of 22 starters. They go at South Florida, then they get Baylor at home, then they go to Oregon, then they get Wyoming at home, get Utah State, get Notre Dame at home, get Arkansas at home, go to Liberty,
oh my gosh,
get East Carolina at home, go to Boise State, and then, well, if this would scroll, I know they finished with Stanford. They've got one more game in there.
Dude,
that is
so rough.
Yeah, but to me, like right now you look at it, they're playing number 10, number 11, number 5, number 19. By the end of the year, those teams aren't going to be in those spots. Notre Dame's not going to be at 5.
No.
I don't think Baylor's going to be at 10. I don't think Oregon's going to be at 11.
I think Baylor has a decent shot. Oregon, no.
I think that's 4 teams you're catching on a down year, but they're big names.
Yeah.
And
it's a good spot
you can lose one of them, and you get 3 of them at home.
Yeah.
You lose to Oregon.
That Arkansas game, I will be tuned in. I don't care who's playing.
Yes, for sure. I agree. Let's see if I can't get this thing to scroll right. This stupid whatever. Back to Rice at USC. Who cares? 33-point spread.
Yeah.
Another good one. Number 7 Utah at Florida.
This honestly,
if you listen,
bro, this might be the game of the week. Honestly, like this might be the one to watch. I hate that I'm going
this one and one more.
The Alabama game because it starts at the same time. Because I really want to watch this game. I know Florida's not ranked or anything, but it's at the Swamp. You get a top 10 team at the Swamp. You're going to tune in. It doesn't matter if Florida's awful or not. I mean, like we talked about it, Florida's my most surprising team, preseason award winner, and yours as well. So this one could be a good one.
Yes, for sure. If you listen to me on the Plainsman pod, this was my week 1 pick, and I've already changed my mind. I'm not touching this game.
I wouldn't.
Utah -3.
No.
In Gainesville, and I'm so high on Anthony Richardson that, like, I seriously think this guy could win the Heisman. I think he could be there in New York when the season's over. And then honestly, I think Utah is my team this year outside of Auburn that I've just kind of put my stamp on.
Just adopted.
This is who I'm rooting for to win it all. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I mean, I'm not with you, but I feel that. I'm with you. I'm backing you on that. I will not be adopting them because I still am sour. I still am sour at Utah. Just personally.
Miami of Ohio at number 20 Kentucky. Kentucky's 16-point favorites.
Oof.
I don't know much about Miami of Ohio.
I know that's 3 scores technically, but that's not. If you're high on Kentucky, I would be worried about that line.
Yeah. I think it just shows their offense isn't going to be able to run people out of the building.
No.
Then we've already talked Ohio State versus Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame runs it. I think Ohio State runs it up on them.
No question.
Clemson at Georgia Tech. Clemson's 21.5-point favorites. I don't know too much about Georgia Tech, but
yeah, that one will be
Clemson's going to be a wagon.
That'll be a blowout. It's in Atlanta. I'm sure it's at Georgia Tech's stadium. I don't know why it would be at the Dome, but it's just gonna be a blowout. It'll be fun to watch it on Monday night. That's really the only notable thing about that game.
There's one more. It's not on this list, but Purdue versus Penn State.
Yeah, I had that one on my list
tomorrow
as
night.
Well. Just to kind of look at and see what the line was. That one could be Thursday at 7:00 Central Time. Definitely probably gonna give it a watch. Flip it back and forth with West Virginia and Pitt. I don't know, man. Might be a good one. Might be a good statement game for Penn State.
Let me see. I'm the other way around. I think Purdue's going to win.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I
but
think
if Penn State is going to have any kind of success, this is one. Obviously you have to win it, but you need to make a statement. I guess it would be a good statement game to open up the year.
So this Purdue's quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, he kind of fell under the shadow of the 2 quarterbacks from last year, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. Listen to these stats. The back half of the year so we'll start in right here against he plays Michigan State. We'll go before then. He plays Iowa. 30 for 40 passing, 375 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Then he goes to Wisconsin. He has a bad game there. 24 for 32, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks.
Okay.
After that Wisconsin game, he goes to Nebraska. 34 for 45, 233, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Okay.
Michigan State's ranked 3rd at this point.
Right.
He goes 40 for 54 for 536 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Goes at Ohio State, who is ranked 4th. He goes 40 for 52, 390 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Northwestern, 29 for 39, 423, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Indiana to close out the year, 26 for 31, 278, 4 touchdowns. That is 6 straight games of 75% and better with 16 touchdowns and 0 interceptions to close out the year
That's crazy.
5-game stretch.
Those are like Bailey Zapp numbers.
Yeah, those are Heisman numbers.
Yeah.
If people are paying attention to him.
Definitely.
They lost to Notre Dame, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Ohio State last year. I think this is a team nobody's really looking at just yet.
Dang. Yeah, that's he's definitely one to watch, especially after hearing those numbers. Wow, I did not know that. There's always
it's like something clicked.
There's always a couple dudes though that go to like these, maybe not even lesser known schools, just people like not known football schools, I guess, and that pop off with these massive numbers, and you just never really hear about them. Like Bailey Zapp is one, a notable from last year, and then you always hear about these dudes at the combine that just go for something crazy, and you've never even heard of them. You're like, why have I never heard of this guy? You know, it's just weird.
Yeah, I mean, he was averaging 40 attempts after the Minnesota game. By week 4, they were giving him the ball 40-something times to throw it. He finished 5th in QBR. But we'll get into... Give me your pick of the week.
Oh yeah, so pick of the week. We already kind of talked about it. Kind of gave y'all a teaser. I'm going West Virginia over Pitt, or at least the cover. I mean, I would take it money line because I'm a psycho because I just think JT Daniels is gonna come out and say like, hey, I'm not dead, buried, and gone. I'm here to prove myself. Because I mean, I think he's a really talented quarterback. And what a better time, or there's no better time to do it in a old rivalry that's getting revived. So that's gonna be my pick of the week. West Virginia to cover.
Yeah, like you said, I think honestly, all of us that knew what Georgia had was just waiting on Stetson Bennett to mess up and JT Daniels to come in, and then we all kind of figured, their offense would take off, but Stetson Bennett just never messed up.
Yep.
And gave him the chance. I'm taking Ohio State by 17.
Yeah, I like that one.
I just think Notre Dame is there to sell tickets, and that's it. I think Ohio State is in a league of their own.
I'm with you on that one. I think Ohio State is gonna just mollywop them, and it's not even gonna be close. Also notable. What's the coach's name at Notre Dame now?
Marcus Williams, I think.
Yeah,
something
Marcus
like
Freeman, maybe.
Freeman.
He is winless as the head coach at Notre Dame. They lost their bowl game last year, so definitely something to note. He has never won as a Notre Dame head coach, so can't really expect him to cover here.
Give me an upset to watch for.
Give me Florida over Utah. That's the upset I want. I want that to happen. Nothing against your team, but like, I just like when I need another East team to compete with Georgia, and I think Florida's going to give us the best shot.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a close spread. Like, Utah's only favored by 3. It'll probably come closer to that if I had to guess by game time. More people will probably come in on Florida, but I'm going to take East Carolina. They're NC State's favored by 11, but I just think it's a weird spot. I think it's dumb to go play that game.
Yep. I agree.
Another one we didn't talk about was North Carolina going to App State.
Yeah.
App State's going to hammer North Carolina.
It's going to get ugly. I hope it does, too. I'm just not a North Carolina fan, honestly. Like, I don't know what it is about ACC teams. I just want to see them lose.
Yeah. And that spread's kind of went back and forth. Like, it stayed right around even money. I think both teams have been favored by 1.5 at one point. But last thing for me, TJ Finley named starting quarterback for Auburn. Does that make you happy as an Alabama fan?
Well, I mean, we barely beat him with the broken leg, but the game's in Tuscaloosa this year, so I don't know. I want y'all to have some happiness, man. I want y'all to have a good season. So, I don't know if he's the guy. I'd like to see him play well for you guys until that last week. But what do you think? How do you feel about it?
I have no idea. I have been saying this whole offseason that if TJ Finley was my quarterback again, that I would do bad things to myself, like physically harm myself. And now I just feel like, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I just have to trust Harsin. He's there at practice and I'm not. And, I mean, the guy's 6'7". Like, figure it out, dude.
Yeah.
But that's all I've got. Week 1, it's exciting. Everybody's got a chance right now.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is the best time of the year. We got it Thursday, Saturday. There's probably even some no names playing on Friday. I don't know for sure. Or you can go watch the boys, the high school boys play somewhere. But um, I don't know, man. It's just a great time. It's Labor Day weekend. Everybody be safe out there, but enjoy yourself. I mean, it's the unofficial ending to summer. Fall is here. It's about to start getting chilly outside. I love it. It's my favorite time of the year.
Get your Will Anderson for Heisman picks in too, because it's the 25th year anniversary of Charles Woodson. So probably around November, voters will remember that, and Heisman voters are stupid, and they love a good anniversary.
That's right.
25 years, you can basically take it to the bank of defensive players winning it this year.
I'd go ahead and put rent on it, or put your mortgage, whatever you want.
Every dollar you have. Don't tell your wife. Just put every dollar you have
put
on.
Everything. All right, man. Let's good luck to all the bettors out there. Let's get after it. Let's have a good week.
Love you guys.